I'm sitting here today and I have a conversation with an individual who diehard Trump fan. And like I said, I don't have any horse in the race, but it doesn't make any sense. The thing that doesn't make any sense is you got to realize a couple things. If you have any type of public assistance or are getting any type of public assistance and you are telling people that you're going to vote for Trump, you look stupid. Anybody who's getting public assistance who is voting for Trump, you look stupid. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why. So I went ahead and used my friend ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT, what is Trump policy when it comes to public assistance? Like, how does he feel about public assistance? Because I see all of these minorities that are advocating for Trump. I don't know if they're sexist because they don't like Kamala Harris or whatever that may be, but you got to make a rational decision when you're going to choose a leader of your land. So let me get into the video. Donald Trump's stance on public assistance has generally leaned towards reforming and reducing the size of welfare programs rather than expanding them. Here are some key aspects of his approach to public assistance during his presidency. Number one, work requirements. Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. Trump supported imposing stricter work requirements for SNAP recipients. The administration pushed for rules that would require more able-bodied adults without dependents to work for or participate in job training programs to receive benefits. Medicaid. Trump administration encouraged states to apply for waivers that would allow them to implement work requirements for Medicaid recipients. Some states adapted these requirements, although they face legal challenges. So basically, those two bullets right there, SNAP is basically telling you, you got to work more. You're not going to be able to sit at home and not work and get public assistance. That's not happening under Donald Trump. Now, granted, he says he's going to create all these new jobs and get all these new jobs and bring black jobs. Don't know how that's going to work. Didn't really go through that plan pragmatically so we can understand exactly how that's going to work. But I just figured I'd go over these things. And Medicaid, he's going to cut Medicaid, and Medicaid is only going to be for people who work. So people who have a low income is not going to be able to get health insurance. So just keep that in mind when you're running to go vote for Trump. Number two, budget proposals. Trump's budget proposal often included significant cuts to various public assistance programs. For example, his budget proposal to cut SNAP, temporary assistance for needy families, TANF, TANF, and housing assistance programs. Remember, housing assistance programs, very important for people with low income. Second bullet, the proposed budgets also include changes to how poverty is measured, which could affect eligibility for various assistance programs. So basically changing the poverty scale. So now Trump may consider a certain yearly income. It might not be poverty. You might not be on a level where you can get government programming because he's going to cut the hell out of government programming. So just remember when you're running to that ballot and you're going to put that vote in, just remember if you're on public assistance and you're voting for Donald Trump, it's not rational based on these facts. All right. So get back into it. Healthcare. Trump administration's effort to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, ACA, included proposals that would have reduced Medicaid funding and coverage. This was seen as potentially limiting access to health care for low-income individuals. So people with low income, people that don't make much money, health care is going to be scarce. That's not a good look. You don't want to be running to a ballot with that's just not a good look. I don't understand how people are doing this. It's a big Trump, big time Trump support from people who I would not even imagine voting for a president like that. You know, I'm just looking at it for track record alone, but let me not get long-winded. Number four, focus on employment. Trump's approach to public assistance was closely tied to his broader economic policies, which emphasized job creation and economic growth. The administration argued that reducing dependence on welfare programs would be achieved through policies that encourage employment and economic self-sufficiency. So, what you got to do when you're running to vote for Trump, you're gauging whether or not, because this stuff is going to happen right away. Once he comes into office, all of the programs are going to be cut. That happens right away. He did that before. We have precedents of that. So, what this is saying is, I'm going to cut the government funding, but create jobs at the same time. The person that's running to vote for Trump has to assume that that's going to happen simultaneously. So if he does create these jobs, there's going to be a rush for these jobs, And these jobs got to make enough money to support you now, because now you're not going to be getting what you were getting from the government before. So you have to trust that that's going to happen. That's very important to realize as you run into the ballot and you go put that vote in. All right. So housing assistance. This is a big one. Landlords, everybody listen up. The Trump administration proposed reforms to housing assistance programs, including increasing rent contributions for recipients of public housing and housing vouchers. So, landlords, if you have tenants to have Section 8, simultaneously, as soon as you get into office, Section 8 is going to be cut. They have to be required to pay more than they were paying before, and that's going to become an issue right off the bat. So I don't see how landlords are going to advocate voting for Donald Trump. How do you do that? That's backwards. That's not rational also. When you think about it all the way through, that's not rational. I want there to be government funding. Why would I want them to cut the government funding for people who obviously need it? Comment in the comment section below. Please let me know how you feel about that one. How can the landlord push for Trump? You have landlords out there who are pushing for Trump. Trump, businessman. You're pushing for him. But when he comes in, your tenants that need public assistance are going to get their assistance cut. And that's going to affect your pockets. So how can you rationally vote for Trump? Help me out. Number 6, overall philosophy. Trump's philosophy on public assistance was influenced by a belief in reducing government dependency and promoting work and self-reliance. This was reflected in policy proposals that aim to tighten eligibility and reduce spending on welfare programs. Welfare will be cut. And you would have to assume that jobs are going to automatically be there right away. There's some people on welfare that don't want to get off welfare, but they will have to get off welfare under Trump. Who are these people on welfare? I don't know. Who are these people getting public assistance? I don't know. Who are these landlords? I don't know. Just think about it. You got to make a rational decision when you're choosing a leader of your land. While Trump's policies aimed at reforming public assistance were intended to promote employment and reduce dependency, critics argue that these changes could lead to reduced access to essential support for vulnerable populations. Essential support for vulnerable populations. They mean black people, Mexicans, minorities. These are minorities. These are minorities. The robot can't say minorities. Access to essential support for vulnerable populations. The impact of these policies varied, and they sparked significant debate about the best approach to welfare and public assistance in the United States. So there you have it, guys. Before you go run for Trump, send this video to a friend that's advocating for Trump, that has and gets public assistance, that's on public assistance, that wants public assistance, that needs public assistance. Send a video to him. How do you advocate for somebody who's going to cut that? And we're not even talking about, this video is not about the person he is. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about the people who need public assistance. Advocating for this man doesn't make any sense. It's your boy Ronald West. You watch Ronald West TV. Comment. I'm out.